I don't know how it keeps disappearing. So I'll just do it this way. So the American Historical Association had a symposium, and it was pretty much based upon a previous article along the same topic. But I think that one was written for the Organization of American Historians, which was kind of like they broke off, but whatever, it doesn't matter. But they used that article as a premise for this conference, which led us to Surrealism and Nancy Cunard, Cunard, and her friend George Padmore, Padmore, and they were like some kind of surrealists. Still working on that. But locally, I live around Dali and Ratner. Now, Ratner and Dali, they were surrealists from the beginning, but I don't see, nor have I come across this Cunard and the Padmore with the Dali or the Ratner. Ratner will walk away from Dali and surrealism. Now, Dali, I don't really think he's a surrealist. I mean, take a look at that picture and you walk back and there he is, Lincoln. That's not pointillism. Pointillism is like, nice try, but Dali. So like, too much math up here. Some people, and I'm one of them, you're just going to be the drunk at the table. Don't drink too much. That's Dali with these other surrealists, because he's way smart. So now we had this Bauhaus on the roof. And then the Bauhaus, believe it or not, because I was working on something else, the Ford Motor Company, they are very interested in photography. So there is like between the Bauhaus, and remember that Bauhaus on the roof? That picture, the negative, because that's your problem. You don't read. So it took 8 years to develop the negative. Don't go into the fact about those other, to make photography more artistic, they alter, jazz up the negative, whatever. Now, that picture was here. See, you should have just let it go through because this is so much better. That picture was here. This is like an entranceway. It's Momo-chan. Momo-chan. This wall, 1, 2, 3. There's big fat Albert. It's a Bauhaus. Just letting everybody know. So that negative took a very long time to develop. So I said to myself, but what about the war? What about the gas? And then I went to that conference at Columbia. At first I was impressed, not by them. They told you where to eat and spend your money. I love to invigorate the economy. It's important. It is. So I take the microphone and I ask my question to the dais. You see, the problem is these people keep thinking, we're telling you those words. Yeah, so what? Was it an SAT word? So I say, how was the Bauhaus Archive maintained and brought to the United States of America? Well, then one laughed. There were 4 up there. Laugh, 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 and then the whole audience laughing. But the point is that it is important. So now this Cunard, because of the Ford and the Ford Motor Company, the assembly line, the Bauhaus, because I'm going to post the Wiki AI stuff. I'm just repeating what I typed because I don't want to type it again. I know, you enjoyed the laughter. Doesn't bother me any. Let me put it to you this way, sweeties. You're in New York City in something called Columbia University, and if you were worth a grain of salt, you'd be someplace better. And not in California either. So now this Nancy Cunard, like she's a cruise person, some boats. Remember, that had to be dredged to support ferries in Tarrytown, and probably was a Rockefeller, maybe Lawrence. They brought the cruise ship. That was a ferry. The ferry used to go from Tarrytown to Nyack before the Tappan Zee Bridge that they named MARRIOT Cuomo. It's the Tappan Zee Bridge. So now this cruise ship, because when I came home in 96, 97, I would play tennis up against the wall. And I'd watch this white big boat. Every year it came with lots of people. Whatever they did. I'm just telling you, dredging. So this Cunard, if she had boats at White Star Pier 54, that was turned into like a rock band place for kids. But I don't remember when Boy George came, and that's the other problem. This Boy George, this Sting, this Eric Clapton, oh, forget about Elton. I've had it with him. My allowance and my paper money paid for that Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me cassette that said, this one, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. In like 73, this guy. I mean, how many times does Elton John have to be uplifted by old people now that started with him and his problems? Recorded at a New York studio. So now, this, they have not written about the changes of New York City since they've gotten there, have they? No. The only one, Boy George, he was nice enough. He said that with his community service, he let us know they are here on work visas. And he told the police, don't you read page 6, New York Post? Gotta love it. He said it has to go with my work visa. So, I don't know, whatever. I'm not going to go into that. So now this White Star 54, and I'm like, 54, Studio 54 turned into a theater. I get it now. Maybe this Cunard White Star 54 is the reason it's Studio 54. Why not? So now this Andy Warhol, in a book that I didn't buy and I should have bought because now I can't find it, he did a whole chapter on the production line, assembly lines. Because we're going back to Ford and the motor company, they're interested in photography. Google it. Or as my friend said in Maryland, Google that shit, Sophia. Google that shit. So now, I forgot what I was going to say. Maybe I'll remember. Maybe not. Anyway, so Andy Warhol wrote this book, and it's thick. And he's explaining the Brillo pad, and he's explaining the Campbell's soup. And now you have to remember, my first exhibit was at the Corcoran before it closed in Washington, D.C., when they threw me on New York Avenue Kinko's because Whitney Wells had an affair with the manager in Boston and she got mononucleosis. Like she's a teenager. And so I had to go work there. And now I decided I'll walk around. And there it was, the Corcoran. And there it was, Andy Warhol, Keith Haring, and Disney. So there is a book, and Warhol is talking production lines, and Warhol was Studio 54. Studio 54 was converted to the theater, and I went to see Sondheim, Sunday in the Park with George. And well, I have my feelings Sondheim either way, because look, what did he do? Truthfully, he sat somewhere and he said, "Oh, let me just write one that people will understand, and I'll call it West Side Story." Now there's a little surrealist fiasco. Hasn't it become one? Sure it has. And this Sunday in the Park with George, it could go there too. Because, listen, Sweeney Todd, they're killing people and it goes down the chute. That's technology. He pops up. He's in a barber chair. And then he gets, I had a friend on Hanford Place, and they used to hang the sausages in the garage. It's kind of like that. But not, well, you never know. And she's making the pies. It's not Marie Callister or whatever her name was. It's your meat. But you watch those movies. What were they called? When you eat people. Is it going to come to that? Now, the surrealists, they like Freud. New York likes Moreno. Psychodrama guy, upstate New York. Who Shall Survive? This is not movie. This is like wind them up. So now this Sondheim, not Surratt at the Metropolitan, La Grande Jute, but it is Sunday in the Park with George Surratt. So now the Seine, because remember Keith Haring, the chalk on the subways. Well, the Seine, if you're interested, because it's water. It's got to be something under the water. It's chalk. And the Seine, not from General Hospital, when the two kids get pulled out, they're going, bye. Maybe they'll come back. I don't know. So, for that, you have the chalk coast of Normandy. Forget about Peggy Noonan. And if she's related to that Noonan insurance company, I don't know. That Kerner's very interesting. But my grandmother says, and this is how I cover myself, just in case somebody gets mad. My grandmother always said, they sell more than one in the store, Sophia. And maybe that goes for names too. Thank you, Yaya. Peggy could get mad. Hey, I bought that book, What I Saw at the Revolution. That didn't go over well on Amtrak. What's Sophia reading? Peggy Noonan. I bought the book. I did read it. What she saw at the Revolution. Anyway, so this Etretat, it's all connected to the chalk coast of Normandy. Yeah, so anyway, and then, let me see, did I get the Conard, the White Star 54, Rock the Vote, the kids listened to the music there, and then we got the Boy George and all these people, and they never wrote the book about, what they saw, and then they saw something else. It's big now. It's city. George Padmore, and then Dali and Ratner are 25 miles apart with, maybe some surrealistic differences. But that Freud had his opinions on war and crazy people. So you can take the subconscious and the stream, or you could take the Seine and the chalk. You're funny people. Like I said, just make sure the joke's not on you, I want to live in America. So much to see in America. You better make sure he didn't laugh at you.